Okay.
Thank you.
All the way back to 2003, Obama has said that he wants a one-payer insurance plan. That means that the Social Security was going to be the main cost. Page 425, section line 413, you will be counseled on how to live the end of your life. Like Planned Parenthood that kills unwanted babies, which you support probably.
That's not in the bill.
There will be a program to abort the elderly and the disabled.
Okay.
Doctors, and on line 429, line 1025, doctors on an order from the U.S. government can write an end-of-life order. A community-based nonprofit organization will counsel you on an end-of-life program. I'm wondering if this is going to be ACORN.
Yeah, like the ones that are going to do our...
Okay, and on 354, line 1177, which this gentleman just got to, government will restrict enrollment of special needs people, Alzheimer's, uncontrolled diabetes, Parkinson's, any cancer or heart condition, also Downs and cerebral palsy for the young. Ron Emanuel's brother, a few years ago, wrote a paper saying it would be all right, and he's part of the architect of this program too. He wrote a paper that it would be all right to abort a baby up to 2 years old if he had Downs or cerebral palsy or some program that would cause the insurance to have to pay an exorbitant amount of money. This is unconstitutional that we are going to go to a suicide program.
That is not what the bill says, and you want me to read it to you?
Yes, it does.
Because what the bill says, and let me say what it does, and I'll read the whole thing. For the first time, Medicare will be, a family can go to a doctor or a professional and ask for end-of-life counseling. It's permissive. It's not mandatory. There's no mandatory in this bill.
Are you going to be under this plan?
Sure, I'm going to be under it because I'm going to be on Medicare in 3 years. But but this is permissive. And how many of you have lost a loved one in the last 15 or 20 years? I know I've lost a dad and my wife's mom and a lot of folks.
My mom in April.
And we had to do that. We had to deal with that. And frankly, we dealt with it through our a lot of prayer and with all the family having to make a decision. And what this bill does on a permissive basis, you have to request that information. The patient has to request it.
You interpret it for like...
No, I'm not interpreting. Let me read it to you.
Go ahead and read it.
I'll be glad to read it to you. Everything it says, the individual and the practitioner, advanced planning care, the individuals involved has not such. They actually will pay for it every 5 years if you request it. So what it means is that this bill is that a doctor will get reimbursed by Medicare if they counsel you or your family. Because,
why do we even need that?
Well, like I said, this is not in the bill, but I know in real life that happens every day.
Get the government out.
So,
well, then get the government out of my life. I don't need Big Brother telling me what to do.
Read the bill.
Oh, I've read the bill, and that is a permissive section.
Read the bill to us. What do you think? Oh, and interpret it. We'd like to have it interpreted.
Well, the difference is, well, in all honesty, this bill changes literally every time there's a committee.
Okay, then how about page 16, where you're going to fine me 2% of my annual income if I, as an individual, decide I don't need health care? You're going to take 2% of my money? Because I made a decision? Well, okay, whether you do it or not,
the bill
why?
requires both an employer mandate if you're above, I think it's $500,000 in payroll.
Mandate?
And it's a mandate for employer coverage, but it's also a mandate for individuals.
Yeah, you take away my rights to decide what I think is best for me, Big Brother. Tommy?
This isn't a personal meeting. Let him talk.
I've been talking about this for 10 years. You still ain't answering me.
But calm down and let everybody...
No, it ain't calm down, man. You know what? They're stealing 40% of my income.
You know what? I'm paying taxes too.
Not 40%, I bet.
We're all paying taxes.
Are you going to read the bill?
Yeah.
Quit stealing my money.
I'll read it. And those of you who watch C-SPAN, you follow the And what it is, it's in page 424, and it calls Advanced Care Planning. And what this means, it's a consultation between individual and practitioner, described in paragraph 2, that regarding advanced care planning if subject to paragraph 3. and the individuals involved had not had the consultation within 5 years. The explanation by the practitioner for advanced planning include key questions, and it goes what it is. To talk about do not resuscitate order, lots of things that you hear about every day, and that for the first time it will be something that will be paid for by Medicare once every 5 years if you request
I
it.
was looking at page 425, 425, line 413.
425, the explanation, I can't, if you're all going to talk, it's not worth it.
Line 425, 413 is one I asked.
Okay, the page 425, line 13.
413, 4 to 13.
413?
No, be line 4 through 13.
Oh, 4 through 13. And advance and explanation by the practitioner of advanced care planning include key questions, considerations, important steps, and suggested people to talk to. B, including explanation by the practitioner of advanced directives, including living wills, durable power of attorney, and their uses. C, an explanation by the practitioner of the role and responsibility of the healthcare proxy, which is like a power of attorney. The provision by the practitioner of a list of national and state-specific resources available to assist consumers and their families with advanced care planning, including a national toll-free hotline, advanced care planning clearinghouses, state legal service organizations, and those funded through the Older Americans Act of 1965. And E, the explanation by the practitioner of the continuum of end-of-life services supports available, including palliative care, hospice care, benefits for such services and supports that are available under this title. And the last one is F, and what it is that in real life, I had to go through this with my father who was 91. We went through it with my wife's mom when she passed away. But we weren't going to bill Medicare because we actually, my stepmother, my mother-in-law actually had a DNR that she signed. Who wrote the bill? Oh, a lot of people. I probably had about 15 amendments I put on this last week. A lot of different members of Congress. We actually had about 90 amendments just this last week that was added to this. And some of those amendments I wrote, some of Republicans wrote, some Democrats. So, the bill, that's what, yeah, this is, there are members of Congress who are really supporting something like this on a voluntary basis. I would vote against it if it was mandatory. In fact, we talked about this in our committee, if you watched it last Thursday or Friday, forget which day, because it said this is voluntarily. It's not mandatory, because we would have put an amendment in and it would have passed overwhelming that made sure it was voluntary. Because that's what it is.
That insurance, Congressman?
Well, I will be. Okay.
Yes or no?
Let me.